Hey everyone, good morning. It's Dave with Dave and Ray's Projects Around, and we're here today on a job site. We started this job, Ray, when did we do this job? Probably over a year ago. We started the job. We'll walk you through what we did. And then the customer took a break, and then we're back here today to continue to work on it. So it's been, I think, 14 months, maybe 15 months since we've been on this job. So we'll get you started here. Job is basically hanging doors and crown molding and baseboard. But we got here this morning and the customer had a problem. He couldn't get his GFI to work, and we had to work through a process of elimination. We took off all the wires coming off the load side, which come off the GFI to other outlets. And just hooked it up straight to this after we had shut it off in the panel box, and the GFI worked properly. This was a brand new one. So we knew it wasn't the line coming in from the panel box that had the problem. And then through a process of elimination, we were disconnecting different lines. We found out that the garage door opener on this side, this outlet up here, did not have a problem. It was working correctly. We came to that this one was working incorrectly. Somewhere there was a break in the ground, so it was popping the GFI. So somewhere they had a ground fault. When we took this apart and opened it up, there was another line going out. Now the owner says that light post there and these three exterior sconces are hooked to the same circuit. So the line coming out from up here comes this way towards the camera, towards these lights. So somewhere out here there's a problem. He's gonna hire an electrician to try to find that out. So what we're gonna do today is get this garage door opener working so his wife can get her vehicle in and out, and they can get the refrigerator and freezer back working. So while Ray's working on that, I'll take you inside. All right, while Ray's finishing up outside, wanted to show you last year, I think it was about 14, 15 months ago, the customer hired us to come in and put in crown molding and replace all of his doors and put casing in. We also did the baseboard in the house. And we're here to finish up the job. He's got a couple small jobs that he asked us to do on top of that. So today though, the scope of work, go in here, is we're going to be replacing these 6-panel doors for the ones that you saw out there. Now, this one had to be taken back and it was a special order, and we're waiting for that one to come in. But today we'll do the bathroom door and we'll do the closet door, and we'll get as much baseboard as we can done. The other thing the customer asked us to do is he had an electrician come in and they had some track lighting up here, and they eliminated the track lighting, and there's a hole here that needs to be patched. So we brought material to patch that, and we'll get that in, mud and taped. We'll come back the next time, we'll sand it, and we have some paint texture that we'll put on it to try to match the texture that's in here. So that's the scope of work today. Why don't you guys just hang around and we'll get started here in a moment. I take a utility knife from taking off old casing and cutting the paint line here and the caulk line, so when we pull off the casing, we don't pull off a bunch of paint. All right, since we're taking this door jamb, because we have new pre-hung doors, I'm going to pop the casing off against this old jamb and not against the wall, so I don't want to damage the wall. And I really don't care about the old door jamb because it's getting tossed out anyhow. So pull it off using your door jamb. That way you don't damage your wall. So I just run this until it's tight, and then I'll put a shim from this side where it's angled. Kind of hold them together. I like to get them right underneath the hinges. Hold this in place real quick, check my plumb, and see if you guys see that it's dead on plumb. And I just tack it with a 2.5 inch trim nail. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run, oops, sorry about that. I'm going to run a larger screw through here that'll go back, because all the weight of the door hangs on these hinges, so you want to make sure that you secure this to the stud with something more than just a trim nail. Alright, so I don't drive the pins all the way down right now. We're just going to put them in so they're holding the door in place. Alright, so I got to show you guys, doors are tricky. Let me show you free here. So when we shut it from this side, it's binding right there. So what needs to happen is the reveal up there is really a lot bigger than it is here. So what you need to do is put a shim in here and try to drive this top a little bit over. Because once we get it in, it's very tight there, but here it's a lot different. So we do need to move it over. That's how finicky doors can be. The reveal across the top is not bad. Okay? Doors are a pain in the butt to put in. So let's see if we can drive that over just a tad bit with some shims. See, that's enough right there. Voila. Alright, let me show you. So, it's closing. Nice reveal. Okay. We closed up that reveal over here, but I had to put some shims in to force this top that way. Just a little bit. But that's how crazy doors can be. You gotta take your time with them. Alright. So, if you look all the way down, the reveal is the same. The same on this side. Reveal is all in. This is the reveal. It's the same across the top. It's the same. Took me a little bit. Also, the top and the bottom touch at the same time on the stop. So, now, what ended up happening is the customer who was doing the painting painted the wrong door. He painted a 28-inch left-hand swing door, and this is a 28-inch right-hand swing door. But since we're here, we went ahead and hung it. I'm going to take the door off and we'll bring it to his paint shop so he can paint it. He's just going to have to paint the jamb in place. Kind of hard, but not too hard. I mean, he can do it. It's easier to paint them, pre-paint them. But so let's go ahead and get this door in. All right. These are. Hold on. Tighten here. These are melanite, so these suckers are heavy. One thing about melanite that's nice, feels like a solid wood door. They're so bloody heavy. Oh, before I do that, I forgot to do something here. Hold on. I forgot to run the long screw into the center here. You're back. Ray's been wandering around the universe. Ray's on call for the company that he works for, so he had to leave a couple times. I mean, which happens, but, you know, what we're doing here is just side work. So he's got to do his full-time job. Alright, so now that I got that on, we'll go ahead. Here, Ray, come on in here. Gotta put a pin in there. There we go. Okay. All right, so like before, we got that done. Now we're going to go ahead and work on this side and getting the reveal done. So we'll bring it back when that's done, putting the shims in and getting the reveal right.
So we got this door frame and door all hung. We got the shims in, doorknob and everything on. Now on this side of the door, we've already started putting up the casing. So we got both sides done and the top.
So I don't know if this should shut off or not, but I always glue my corners, and then I'll take a brad and pin it here, and then use brads and then pin that side. So there it is. That's casing on this side of the door. We'll now move to the outside. Alright, so what I do is I usually put a screw in here so I can hold this board where I want it. Then we'll put a couple screws up in here. Okay. And we're just using this as backing now. Floor joists run this way, so we're just going to put it in here, hold it down, put a couple screws up in here to hold the board for our backing. And the battery's dead. Alright, so the reason I put the board up in here first, before cutting it with hole saw. So I need to make a patch. Alright, so I need to make a patch. So we made a couple plugs earlier out of some spare drywall back at my garage, out of a 4 1/8 inch hole saw. But I need to make that hole up there match. So we put in the 2x4, and then we'll go ahead and use that guide bit to cut a hole that the plug will fit into. And there you go. Nice clean hole. And it's just a little bit of material inside of there. Dump it in here. Now, the plug fits right up in there perfect. Like so. We'll put a couple screws in that, and then we'll go ahead and mud and tape this. And once it dries, we'll sand it down, probably do another coat, and then we'll go ahead and texture everything. just going to cover over where that track was, and there was some deformity in the texture. The customer said he tried painting it and wasn't able to get that to come out. So we're just going to mud it. I'm a firm believer in less is more. Start with a thin coat. We'll sand it and we'll come back and touch up whatever we need to touch up. What I hate doing is putting it on really heavy and then spending a ton of time sanding it. Always start thin and you can build it up if necessary. It's just a real pain to do all that sanding. And when you're in a customer's home, that dust gets everywhere and you've got to protect all of their property. So don't make it tough on yourself if you're kind of doing these little jobs, even in your own home. You don't want to spend a ton of time cleaning. Alright, so we're wrapping up for the day. We got the new doors in and the casings on them. Had to rip that one down and then do some caulking. We're going to take this door upstairs, take it off and take it upstairs so the owner can paint it. The only thing I have left to do, just fill some nail holes. He's going to go ahead and paint so the trim has been painted, but the casing hasn't yet. So we'll go ahead and fill all these nail holes before we leave today. And we'll get this ready so he can paint it. But that was the project. So in this room, what we have left to do is crown molding, all up here, and new baseboard, that 5-inch baseboard. We did that door last year. All right, so thanks for joining us today. If you like our videos, please do us a favor and subscribe and smash that like button. From time to time, we'll check back in on this project so you can see how it's progressing. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.